We've learned tonight that a college student who was shot and killed in San Leandro 2 months ago was not the intended victim. 21-year-old Joel Ramirez was killed in mid-December. Today we learned he apparently was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. ABC 7 News.
In the early morning hours of December 14, 2014, Joel Ramirez left work at El Torito and visited his girlfriend Laura Miller. As he returned home at around 4:30 and pulled into his driveway, an unknown assailant approached his car and shot him through the window, killing him. It wasn't until about 5 hours later that a passerby found him dead. He hadn't even had the chance to turn off the engine. During the investigation, police discovered a marijuana growing operation in the house in front of Joel's, which led them to determine that his murder was a possible case of mistaken identity in relation to that drug operation. Joel was the younger of two boys growing up in San Leandro, California, where he was very close to his family, especially his mother. He attended Roosevelt Elementary, Bancroft Middle School, and San Leandro High. Like his older brother Eric, Joel was accepted into the San Leandro Academy for Multimedia, which became an important part of his life. There, he met people who became like family, lasting friends and caring teachers.
So Joel was in my freshman earth science class. And that's, I think, why he sort of got interested in slam, because he heard about it through me, and he knew me. And you know, in that class we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of crazy freshman students in there, but Joel was one of the sort of good kids that, you know, didn't always do his work, but he was fun to be around. And he continued that into slam. He was one of the kids that, you know, just made the class a fun place to be.
Well, he drew some pictures at the bottom. It was a test, I think. And he drew some pictures at the bottom, and he said, "Sorry, Farley, I didn't study, but I hope you like the pictures." So that was something that made me laugh, and I wish I would have kept it. But I did find, some of the students found this. In Tobin's class, he reuses handouts like I do sometimes, and so some girls brought me this, and it had Joel's name on it, so they knew it was his, and so they brought it to me, so I would have something, which I thought was sweet.
My memories about Joel Ramirez are that he was extremely pleasant. He was always in a good mood, and that didn't make much difference whether or not he was getting a good grade or a bad grade. He was always a super nice kid, so and a talented artist as well.
When things got stressful, he'd lighten the mood. It was important for him that everybody feel good, and that was really his value all the way through. Was, you know, he may not be leading the class creatively, but he was a huge part of the glue of that class.
He'd mock me all the time and say, "Farley, what are you doing?" or something like that. He would do that all the time when he would come into the class. He was just a funny kid, and I really, really loved him, and I'll really miss him.
I remember meeting Joel in Slam my sophomore year. We're all eager beavers ready to socialize and meet one another, and Joel was the first person I met because he was really kind and he was really approachable. And he always had a really big smile on his face that, you know, was really contagious.
And he made such unique voices with his voice. All of his different impressions that he used to do, all the rhymes that he used to make. He had such a big imagination.
Or he would, you know, make little silly faces. That's what he always did, was silly faces. I know that he also never took off his shades. He was always wearing his shades for no reason, whether it be day or night, he was always wearing them. That was kind of part of his look. One of the things I remember that we always did was the wall maps in Mr. Tobin's class. It was always me, Vivian, and Felipe, always in the same group. And every time we'd finish our wall maps early, he would always draw these weird creatures, him and Felipe both. Weird little creatures or weird little drawings that made no sense. Could never tell what it was. And it was always just so funny because he would just think, like, what are you drawing? What is that?
We were in the same group for video production, so we made all our videos together, and as you guys know, they weren't really the best, but he always made them a good time. Probably too much of a good time, which is why they probably lacked some skill. We were too busy goofing off.
I remember him talking about wanting to do this thing called the Milk Challenge, and he used to send me a lot of videos of people doing it. And I always said I was down to do it if he ever wanted to just show up with a gallon of milk, and if he had one too, we would do it together. And I remember one morning I came to school and he took me to the fridge and he opened it and there's 2 gallons of milk right there. And I knew already that it was going to be a fun time. So of course, as SLAM students, we had to take a camera and we had to film all of it. And we had a crowd as well to watch. So we went outside and we attempted to do the milk challenge in 10 minutes, I believe it was. A gallon in 10 minutes, and you're usually supposed to have 30 minutes. So, I mean, we started it, having a good time, trying to laugh it off. And Joel was the first one to kind of...
How do you feel? Milk challenge. Milk challenge was fun. Get the one, bro. But not worth it. It's not worth doing.
And it's always been good. It's always been a really pleasure, a really nice. He was always nice to be around. I think that's the number one thing everyone could agree upon, was that Joel was always a pleasure to be around. I don't think anyone has one awful memory with Joel.
I think it's going to be hard to fully miss him because there's always going to be a part of him that feels like he's around and feels like he's a part of our lives and feels like he's a part of everybody's memories, whether that be if you were with him in high school or afterwards or growing up. I would imagine he was a great little kid too, but it's just, I think he's always going to be there. And in one sense, that's really comforting.
You know, I love you, Joel, and I'm sorry that I didn't get to spend as much time with you towards the end. You were a brother to me. Your mom was like a mom to me. I'm gonna miss you so much.
In his last year of high school, Joel became passionate about pursuing a career in law enforcement. After he graduated, he began attending Chabot Community College, where he was majoring in criminal justice. During this time, he met Laura, and they started dating. They would have celebrated their 2-year anniversary this June.
How'd you guys meet?
I met him because of Emily and Chris at a party that Emily had. And there was this kid in his come at me bro hat and cargo shorts and like 4-year-old Vans and his Slam sweatshirt 2 years after we graduated high school. And he only talked to me like 2 times. And once was just like he said hi, and another time like asked to pass me something, like asked me to pass him like a cup or something. But I guess I made an impression with handing him a cup, because at his car on like as they were leaving, Chris, I guess he was talking about me, and he was like, tell her, and then he meowed. And for the rest of the night, him, Danny, and Emily meowed at me until I agreed to give him my number. And then we've been inseparable ever since. Nice. All because he meowed. And it worked.
It worked.
I think what always struck me the most about Joel is he never got how great he was. He was the kindest person I've ever met, but never knew it. And he was the funniest person I've ever met. Even when he was so funny, it was annoying. You're just like, seriously, man? Serious for 1 second. He was the funniest person I've ever met, and he was the nicest person, and he was so smart, and he just never got it. He'd always be like, no, the school thing's yours. Like, you're the smart one. But he had all this potential, and he was going to do such great things, and someone took that. But he just never got how great he was. For a year and a half, I was treated as nothing less than a princess every day. No matter what we were going through, he was perfect, and he just never got it. He would tell me that I was so out of his league, and that like he couldn't believe he had me, but I couldn't believe I had him. He was just perfect, and it was a perfect year and a half, and it should have been longer, but at least I got that.
About 3 weeks before he died, ironically, Joel wrote a college essay about grief. In it, Joel says, "The experience that you get with all emotions of a loved one's death isn't the end, but a new way to look at things from a different perspective. Let the anger, pain, and the sadness out. Acknowledge that they are there. Don't hide them. Express yourself so you can finally live your life."
What's up, guys? This is Joel Ramirez, El Jefe. I would like to thank all the teachers for helping us out a lot and pushing us to do our work. It really helped out. And I'd like to thank my family for everything they've done for encouraging me to do my work and whatnot. I'm gonna miss you guys so much. I'm really sad right now, hurting. But all I gotta say is better in threes. Later.